gents, there's only one place to start today. Ten Hag has been sacked. And look, Staffy, I'm going to hand the floor to you, brother.
Woo! I don't know where to start. Hold on, let me compose myself. I've been waiting for this moment for how long? I don't know. I was nervous today. I was like, what am I going to say today? What am I going to say to the people today? And I went on my channel today to ramble on. I was like, you know what? This is a good test before I go on the top 6 today and talk to the Terrace audience and talk to the lovely panel. Shout out Kunle. I know you said you don't like to see me happy, so you better turn your camera off, close your eyes, plug your ears. Don't listen to any of this. Ten Hag, guys. Oh my God. Ten Hag. Just listen, guys. Justice has been served. We've been liberated. Me, Terry, Double A, we finally made it out. We were in prison, guys, and we made it out. Everyone here should be congratulating us. You should say, congrats, guys. Congrats on your freedom. Congrats on your freedom from 10 haram football. No more haram football. No more haram football. I don't have to do watch-alongs anymore and call them haram-alongs. I can go back to calling them watch-alongs. I can actually enjoy football again. I don't need to watch the guys' teams play. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so bitter. I don't want to watch this game because they play magnificent football and I can't keep up with them. I can't. Now I can. I can hope to be like them one day because I no longer have just that dictator, that terrorist of a manager is no longer there. And listen, I saw a picture of him today. He was hiding from the paparazzis. It's like this. You could see his bald head shining. But that's it. He's hiding from the paparazzi. And you know what? A lot of people said, oh, I feel bad. Oh, he has a family. I don't give a fuck what you have to have. I was so happy to see that picture. Him, I know on the inside he's hurting. It hurts him on the inside. He's upset. He has to go back to the Netherlands and face his family and friends and be embarrassed. Well, guess what, Ten Hag? I am happy that you're embarrassed. I'm happy that you're heartbroken. I'm happy that today you feel miserable because that's how you made me feel for well over 2 years now. You've made me feel miserable. You've made me feel embarrassed. I was embarrassed to show my face on the Top 6 show, on my channel, on any other channel. Anytime people wanted to talk to me about football, I ducked them. I ducked them like he ducked the paparazzi, like this. I didn't want to talk football. I didn't want to be associated with these big clubs. Kunle was asking me, we haven't streamed in a while. Why do you think we haven't streamed in a while, Kunle? Because I'm embarrassed. I can't look Kunle in the eyes. I can't look Nubbin in the eyes. Even David, who was my mud brother last season, I can't even look him in the eyes no more. There's no one I can look in the eyes and talk football with. And that was because of Ten Hag. This guy's made my life miserable. And when I say me, I'm talking about 1,000 others. I represent a large group of people. We were embarrassed to talk about United. We didn't want to watch United again. This guy made me hate watching United. And I've been a United fan for about 20 years now. I've never in my life reached a point where I hated watching my team like Ten Hag made me feel. And that's why I'm happy to see him in that pain, because you put all of us through that pain. All those defeats that we had, that 7-0s, they're getting knocked out of Champions League with only 1 win. 1 win and 11 in Europe, and zero wins in a whole calendar year in Europe. Negative goal difference, all that stuff. Bro, all these defeats to City, the 3-0 to Spurs, all that stuff. All the stuff that he's put us through, all these stats that we read out for months and months and months, all these weeks where I had to show up here and talk about new records he broke. New records he broke against Brentford, new records he broke against Brighton, new records he broke against our rivals, new records he broke against the smaller teams, in the domestic trophies, in the league, in Europe, all of this pain. I am happy. I'm happy to see you suffer just a little bit, this teeny bit of what I've suffered and what others suffered for well over a year or two now. And Ten Hag, you are the worst manager, coach, whatever you want to call, the worst to ever step a foot in my lifetime in Man United. And I will pray that you never get a top 5 job again. And I promise you, if you even get a job in the MLS, on God, I am going to do a US tour. I will tour all 50 states just to boo the shit out of you in every stadium. I will visit every 50 state, making sure that when I see Ten Hag, if there's only one person booing, it's gonna be me, brother. it's gonna be me.
Wow.
Bro, do you know what I feel like today when this news happened? You know that final scene? It's a beautiful scene. It's an amazing scene. One of the best scenes ever. In Shawshank Redemption, when a man like Morgan Freeman is walking down the beach and he sees his friend fixing up the boat. That's how I felt when I saw that headline. It was like the freedom was finally here. It's been hard. It's been hard. And look, there are certain United fans that will want to score points. I called this earlier. There are others that will say, oh, you're happy now because you got what you wanted. It's not about being right, being wrong. I'll get some things right. I get something. I don't care. I did not see us progressing under this manager. There's no guarantees we will progress with somebody new, but I felt it was a guarantee without him, we wouldn't. Listen, I'm a little different from Staffy. Thank you for the 2 trophies because barring Pep Guardiola in the last 2 years, he has been the most successful manager in England. So thank you to adding that to our trophy cabinet. That's always going to be part of our history. Take your 10 million, 12 million, 14 million, whatever it's going to be. Sail off into the sunset. Go be successful elsewhere. I don't care. Man United season starts now, as far as I'm concerned. It starts now. We can be positive. Forget even winning games for a moment. I can just look forward to a game. Like Wednesday cannot come soon enough now. We play a game of football. I'm just excited. A double A, obviously, welcome to the Terrace, mate, making your debut here. Been watching your stuff for a long time. So what a night to making your debut when Ten Hag has been sacked. There's a number of new managers we're linked to. Ruud van Nistelrooy in as the interim. Give us your thoughts and feelings, bro.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the invite. Obviously, I know Staffy a little too well, if anything. Big up to the rest of the panel and obviously the chat for having me on. Mate, listen, we were messaging before and I said I was expecting a moan fest. I was just going to come in here and do what I've done on every stream for the last 18 months, moan and moan. And it's turned into a joyous day. Staffy says it's like we've been freed from prison. It actually looks like I've been released today. I'm wearing a Strange Ways uniform. You know what I mean? I've come dressed appropriately. And that's how it feels for Man United fans. And look, the big thing for me is 2 things. Rival fans are going to say, oh, you're being ungrateful and you're just going to go back to the same old sacking managers, this, and this. But the main thing I take from it is how sad rival fans are now. You can see it. Roms is in the chat, but Roms has been running this I Love Ten Hag campaign for about 12 months himself. So seeing the reaction of fans lets you know that Manchester United have made the right decision. And the biggest impact for me is... And it was this season, like I've had some bad times following United for the last sort of 10 years, being a season ticket holder, you know, I think under the Ranić era, after that Atletico Madrid game that we lost, I didn't go to another game because I felt there it was just the wrong thing to me for me to go in there because I wasn't enjoying it. And I've not felt that under Ten Hag. The first season, yes, people say he overachieved or he achieved something that we'd not had for 6 years, winning a trophy, which was great. But then the second season was just back to square one, back to 21-22 for me. It was that bad. So this season, I already knew what we were coming into. There was just going to be a continuation of the poor dross that we've been served up by this manager and the excuse after excuse. And it was the 20 game. I got ready. I was at my front door with my keys. I got to the door and I thought, do you know what? I have a bad feeling about this. And I've never felt this in my life. I turned around and sat back down and I didn't bother going. And that's when I knew this manager has to go, because if you're making me feel like I can't go and watch my team, and there's only one person to blame for that is Erik ten Hag, then I know for me there's no turning back, and I feel like each game is very much for me the same as the end of the Ole era. It was very much a case of game by game. If he wins, he stays. If he loses, his head's back on the chopping block, and there's no future in that. You can't live game by game in this industry. And he was doing the same thing with his team. You look at Thursday night against Fenerbahce and Agate, who's been screaming needs to get more influence in the team and more minutes, who's played 2 in the last 3 Premier League games, by the way, which makes no sense. He changes it out and he's chopping and changing and he's living result by result. And thankfully, I can't believe, because I've been on Ineos's neck a little bit for the last couple of days, like they need to start making decisions. The fact they've done this with absolutely no warning and just cut it off at the head is brilliant news for me as a Manchester United fan. Yep. The fan base will be galvanized with this now. And you'll see on Wednesday night, I'll be there. The atmosphere, it'll be a different place. There might actually be an atmosphere. And that's the best thing as a Manchester United fan. Going to games, and it doesn't even have to be the most exciting football, but the fact, like he kind of join the fan base together in that first season. And that's what we want again. And yes, we are going into the unknown. Yes, we don't know who we're going to get or what we're going to see. But for me now, that's a risk I have to take, a chance I'm willing Manchester United to take, because we saw the start of this season to be 14th after 9 games. Again, a minus goal difference. No way we're getting better. It was just the end of days. And thankfully, the club have made the absolute right decision to get rid of him.
They certainly have. And I like the fact that there was no... Everybody was caught off guard by it this morning when the news came out. Nobody was ready. Nobody was expecting it. A couple of Mondays ago when we thought it was going to happen, I literally didn't leave this room nearly all day. I'd go and get a drink, come back. I was sitting here refreshing my feed, waiting for the news. I thought it would come. We kind of got to the Wednesday and it was like, shit, he's staying. I love the fact that it just happened. There was no leaks last night. There was no talk of it last night. Again, I think for anyone outside of Man United, that may not resonate. You may not get it. But from our point of view, the amount of stuff, I mean, we know our stadium leaks when it rains, but the news that comes out of Old Trafford sometimes, it's frustrating that it does become news. And yeah, I feel galvanized. I already feel like defending my club again. I saw that loads of articles slagging off Ruud today. He's literally just the interim, but already stories about these problems he had prior. And I'm like, fucking yes. I feel like fighting for my football club again. So I love that sort of feeling. I feel excited about the games. But rivals, look, I think we can all agree it was right to sack Ten Hag. I don't think we're going to have that debate on the show today. I want to throw this out to Nobbins to begin with. What does this mean for Man United now? What do you think will happen from this point? You know, we're linked to a number of managers, some seemingly available now, like Xavi. Others may not be until the summer because we're linked to the likes of Alonso and Inzaghi. What should the next step for Man United be, in your opinion?
You'd like to, from a United perspective, you'd like to think they've already got someone lined up, because otherwise it would be mental to just sack someone randomly like late October without like a candidate ready and raring to go. Obviously, I have no idea what the situation is there. But I think we've touched on this before. Like, the only way forward for United is, in my opinion, to, in the first instance, don't be forward and don't go for like a big name manager. In the first instance, just go for a manager who actually knows what they're talking about from a footballing and tactical perspective. I think, like, start from the ground up in a way and just be like, right, in the first instance, we're going to remember how to play football, and we're actually going to have a tactical identity and a certain structure. Now, that might not mean you go and get the sexiest name out there. I don't know what names there would be that United are being linked with, as I say, but whoever it is, it's got to be someone who fundamentally is a competent coach, because Ten Hag clearly outed himself as someone who isn't a competent coach. So that's step one. Step two, I guess, is then sort of trying to find the balance in terms of, because this is a mismatch of a squad. I think it's safe to say, like, so many players from so many different managers. So I guess, like, the thing then is to sort of figure out.
Ornstein Bamba, Ornstein just tweeted, United are working on a deal for Ruben Amorim.